Welcome to the pod.
And welcome back in at TCM Pod. It's Chris Mathis, Spencer Mathis. We've got a very big show for you guys in store today and an incredible interview aligned for you guys as well with a guy who truly has one of the coolest stories, in my personal opinion, not only with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but also in the NFL as well. A guy who's really not played much football, and here he is. He made the 53-man roster last year as an undrafted rookie out of Georgia State. He's getting set for year two, but really excited about this opportunity to chat with Ben Chukwuma, Spence, of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah, he stepped in pivotal moments last year with all the injuries on the offensive line and did a great job for the Buccaneers. So it's great to have a guy that's, entered through the NFL. He made it all the way through Georgia State as well, and he didn't even play football until he was in his late teens. So, it's an incredible story for Ben Chukwuma. I'm super excited that we get a chance to interview him today.
Absolutely, right here on TCM Pod. Without further ado, we bring on Ben Chukwuma. What's up, Ben? How you doing, man?
What's up? Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, Ben. And I know you had a solid offseason so far. You're able to make a trip back to Africa as well.
Yeah.
Talk about your offseason up to this point.
Yeah, went back to Georgia for like a week to go see my parents. Then after that, went back to Nigeria because since I've been here, I haven't gone back to Nigeria. So I just took that little trip. It was nice. It was fun. Got to see where I grew up from. Where I was born and raised. You feel me? So it was a fun experience. Yeah.
No doubt, man. Excited for you to be able to be in this position. And
yeah.
Overall, how are you feeling right now? We're at the end of March, getting set roughly a couple of weeks away from the NFL draft. And I know it's a different period for you this time around compared to last year as you were getting set to hopefully be drafted.
Yeah.
Talk about how you're feeling right now, Ben.
I feel blessed. Like I said, I'm blessed. I'm amazed. Like I still wake up and I'm like, am I still dreaming? So it's amazing. So every step I take, every opportunity I get, I just thank God and pray that it keeps me going. Because like I said, I'm blessed. I just got back a few weeks ago. Still training with the guys. Seeing the faces and everybody happy to see me. I feel welcomed. So it's a blessing.
And you didn't start playing football until you were 17 years old. Now you're in the NFL on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. When did it truly click that you belong here? And following up with that, when was your what was your welcome to the NFL moment?
I would say after my first game, really, especially the way the game went, it's kind of increased my confidence level. It gave me that reassurance that I can actually play in this level of football. And what was the other question? My bad.
When was your welcome to the NFL?
I feel like it was the first sack I gave up against, So it was. I feel like that was this is no child's play, So that was my wake up in the NFL moment.
Absolutely, man. Well, it's been so cool to be able to follow along with you. We do have a mutual friend amongst all four or the three of us, and that being Eli Pugh with the Georgia State Panthers. Talk about Eli. Talk about, your relationship with Eli, a guy that Spencer and I grew up with. Literally, we were playing backyard football together for 7-8 years growing up as kids.
Yeah, Eli's my guy. I joke around with him. I mess with him every now and then. He messes with me. So, he's a cool guy, cool dude. Someone that you always want to see his face because, is a nice dude. So, my relationship with him is just, in the facility, outside the facility, when he checks up on me, I check up on him. So Eli is a great dude. He's a very great dude.
No doubt about it, Ben. And I know you had an incredible career there at Georgia State. Tell the story again for those that don't know it. If I'm not mistaken, you were on with T-Crass here at DAE a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, you had wanted to play basketball, right?
Yeah.
You wanted to play basketball initially, and then some guys saw you and said, dude, go try out for football. Tell everybody that story for those that don't know that and how you fell in love with football and how it even started for you.
So, when I moved here, I went to high school. My junior year of high school, that's when I moved there. So I came in, the coaches were trying to make me play football, but I didn't know what football was because the only sports I knew was basketball and soccer. And I wanted to play basketball. So I was training for basketball. I tried out. It didn't work out. Then my senior year, I got bigger. Then the football coach was like, come play football. I was like, no, I don't know what football is. Then the English class I had, taken at that moment. The former football coach was there, and a student that was there, also a football player, was there. So they both convinced me. I went ahead. I joined the football team. I didn't really play. You know, I didn't play at all. Then going to college, I still wanted to play basketball. So every day, I was training for basketball. I went to the recreation center to practice every single day. Then going into my junior year, I was like, let me just try football. Then I start. I was like, one day I went up there. I seen a couple of guys playing basketball. I asked them, I'm trying to join the team. What should I do? They told me go up to the coach, talk to the coach, and find out what's up. I did that. Signed up for tryouts. Tried out. Got put on the practice squad. Then I was a walk on. Then that's the rest is history.
And you came into football later than most, like we just said. Do you feel like that could give you an advantage in any way and how you kind of approach and see the game?
Yeah, because me, I'm always learning. Like every single day, I'm learning, and for me, I'm a kind of person that I love learning. Like I'm amazed when I learn something new. So I feel like the sky is my limit because there's so much for me to learn, and with the way I'm learning, I feel like the sky is my limit.
Again, talking with Ben Chukwuma, offensive tackle of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We're trying to basically get a timeline here, and we're going to go from dating back to Georgia State days all the way up until the point where you're at today ahead of the 2026 NFL Draft. What is going to be your second year in the NFL, Ben? And it's been so fun to follow along with. So give me that moment in which I know you went undrafted after your pro day at Georgia State, right?
Yeah,
What's your mindset then? Because you didn't get drafted. You were hoping to, obviously, as everybody does. What
yeah.
happens next after you didn't get drafted? What happened next there for you as you try to chase after this dream?
When I didn't get drafted, obviously, like I said, every opportunity you get, for me, every opportunity I get, I took it as a very big deal. So when I didn't get drafted, I wasn't, everybody in that situation would be sad. But at the same time, I was like, a lot of teams are still reaching out to my agent. So like, I'm like, okay, even if I didn't get drafted, I know people want me. So like, especially that kind of feeling gave me a reassurance that as I have a chip on my shoulder, something to prove. So like, yeah, like I didn't get drafted, so what if, So like, it's something that makes me want to work more, makes me want to do more things to improve my craft. So yeah, at that moment I was like, I didn't get drafted, but I know a lot of teams wanted me, so yeah,
Real quick, Ben. So what we're going to do here, because we have a long distance here between my brother Spence, my co-host,
yeah,
myself, and then obviously you. We're gonna like raise our hand like old school, like we're in a class there at Georgia State. So to follow up on that, Ben,
yeah,
what happens next? So you're keeping a positive attitude there
yeah,
about not being drafted. Teams are reaching out to your agent.
yeah.
As far as the Bucs, how did the Bucs come into play, and what made you decide I want to play for the Buccaneers?
Actually, the Bucks was the only team that the offensive coach, called me on a Zoom call, and he gave me some plays. He taught me some plays, and the way I was able to pick up those plays, he had me watch film, and the way he taught me the plays, I was like, yeah, this is something I see myself coming in and learning a lot from. So yeah, that's one of because of Brian Pukushi. Yeah, he called me, he spoke with me, and I felt like that's the only team that did that. So like that's the team that stood out, and they gave me the highest signing bonus. So yeah,
So now for you, it's week 14. Up to this point, you had only played a total of 6 snaps, which is good for your first year as well.
yeah.
Take us through the moment though. Week 13 heading into week 14 against the New Orleans Saints. Take us to the moment where you were told, hey, you're going to get the start in replacement for Tristan Wirfs, and you're going to have to protect Baker Mayfield's blind side on Sunday.
So yeah, during that whole situation, Tristan had just got hurt, but nobody knew the status, whether he was playing or not. So it was like a day-to-day thing. And one day, Tristan came up to me. I was like, get ready. You're gonna start most of the practice. I was like, wow, okay. I felt like the emotions just came in. I was so nervous. I was so scared. But at the same time, I knew that was my job, you know. So first practice went good, second practice went good, the practices went good up until the game day. Still, I was, scared. I was so nervous. I was talking to one of my teammates, Luke Ogard, that just, came in for he came in for a player that got hurt. So I was talking to him. I told him how scared I was. He told me that's how he felt. But at the end of the day, this is your job, and you just gotta, do it. So like, then he talked to me. The player development guy talked to me. So everybody was just encouraging me. And after the first snap, I felt like, okay, this is not as bad as I, thought it was. Just trust my training, trust my technique, do everything the coaches asked me to do, and I'll be good.
And you did a heck of a job. You had to go against Cam Jordan in your first NFL game. You
Yeah,
guys
thank
allowed
you.
0 sacks that game, had 179 rushing yards. When you watched the film back, what did you prove to yourself in your first NFL game and first start?
Yeah, now and then, every day, I just go to the YouTube and watch the, the highlights. I'm like, yeah, I did it, and I know how I was going into the game. How scared I was going into the game, and being able to, overcome that and play as strong and fast as I did. It was a proud moment for me. It's just something I can just pat myself in the back and say, I'm proud of you.
Yeah, and Ben, I want to follow up on Spencer's question there. So, in that moment when you're playing in the NFL, your first ever game, after the first couple of plays, was it more so in your head of what I can do, what I'm capable of, or was it more so of stopping what Chase Young could do, what a guy like Cam Jordan could do? How do you view that?
Yeah, I mean, after the first few snaps, I got a feel of Chase Young, the guys. I got a feel of it. I was like, okay, this is just like my coaches said. Trust your technique and listen, do what your coach told you to. So after those first snaps, I was like, okay, just do what my coach asked me to do, and everything's gonna, come out good. So like, I feel like that's what I did for the rest of the game. Just trusted my technique, trusted myself, and went on from there.
And your teammates kept telling you to, treat it like practice in your first NFL game. What did teammates within your locker room outside of the offensive line, how did they help encourage you for your first start at such a tough position in the NFL whenever you have a right-handed quarterback?
So yeah, like all of them were just encouraging. Like most of them will come up to me, yeah, you do your shit, Ben. Do your stuff, Ben. You can do this. You can do this. I believe in you, Ben. Baker Mayfield came up to me. I was like, I believe in you, Ben. So like stuff like that, little things like that will keep you hyped up because you know that all your teammates believe in you. All your teammates are rooting for you to be successful. So like I feel like that's what helped me, to be successful that day.
And again, you did start that entire 2024 season there at Georgia State. What's the biggest difference when you got to the NFL and you played in your first game there, week
Yeah.
14? What was the biggest difference you felt immediately from Georgia State to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
First of all, the crowd noise, is different. Sometimes I can't even hear the call. I was like, please, what's the play? Like go left, go left, go left. So like I say the crowd noise is crazy. Then the speed of the game, obviously, the size of the guys, the speed of the guys, the more advanced techniques and more advanced moves you get to see. So like I feel like that's the difference, of the game between Georgia State.
And that was your 14th start ever playing
Yes,
football. How
yeah.
much of your game and your first NFL season was instinct versus still trying to, learn on the fly from an NFL coaching staff?
I feel most of it was trusting my technique, trusting what my coaches did. By the end of the day, is the physical attributes there. The long arms, the strength. I feel like that also helped me a lot. Me being able to keep the players away from me with my long arms, and me being able to move players, with my strength. So like I feel my physical attributes also helped.
And Ben, I know you're a very humble guy. I've seen you obviously here on this podcast. You've been on the show here at DAE 2, 3, 4 times now at this point. I catch you in the locker room after a win, after a loss.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
not going to lie to you. There was one time where I'm looking at you and we wanted to smile like, hey, what's up? But we knew it wasn't a good time to smile. So I was like,
Yeah.
maybe I shouldn't smile. But I
Yeah,
do want to ask you this because I know you're going to keep it real with me, and this is just out of respect for your game and out
yeah,
of respect for your growth in this game of football, and you're
yeah,
trying to head into year 2 on a positive note. You did start again against Miami on the road. Your second start was, I
yeah,
believe, the next to last game of the year.
yeah.
There was a play, if I'm not mistaken, I can't recall. I think you did get beat on the left side, and I think Baker fumbled something. Correct me if I'm wrong. If I'm right there, what was your mentality like in that moment? Because that was your first, oh no, like he got past me, Baker fumbled the ball. Like, walk me through your mental there.
So yeah, that was the sack I talked about. So yeah, I think that was it third down. We needed to get the yards. Then it beat me around the corner and strip sacked Baker Mayfield. At that moment, I was like, I forgot about all the good I did, like every good things I did. I just forgot about everything. I was just focusing on that one mistake I made. And I remember going off and sitting on the bench, and I was telling the guys I let you all down. They were like, "No, this is not going to be the first sack you give up or the second one you give up. It's just how you bounce back from that." And after that instance, I stood up and went in to go play, continue playing. I'm looking out over my shoulder to the sidelines. I'm seeing Tristan, holding his hands on his waist as a proud dad, to give me that confidence boost I needed. So like at that moment, I just literally forgot all the good I did and focused on that one bad thing, and it literally haunted me like till even after the games, even when people were coming up to me, I was like, "Oh, you had a good game. Don't worry about that. That doesn't define you as a player. You did a good job, but still, I was still focusing on that one sack." But something I realized is, especially this game, I play. Um, Things like that is going to happen. It's just the way you bounce back from that. And I feel like since then, it's just knowing how it hurt me then. So now I just don't want it to repeat itself. So that's kind of mentality I have right now.
Another big thing to note with that sack too is Bradley Chubb on a contract year, a great pass rusher as well, getting his incentive on that sack. There was no way in that game, regardless, that he was not going to get his 10th sack of the season with how he was playing. But
Yeah.
moving off of that question, what was your relationship like this season with offensive line coach Kevin Carberry? And how was that room able to stay so locked in the entire year? Guys were going down all season long across every position of that offensive line. What was that room like, led by Carberry? And how happy are you guys that you kept him heading into the 2026 season?
Yeah, like I keep saying, I'm blessed what kind of room I'm in, the type of O-line room I'm in. Everybody wants to see you grow. Everybody wants to see you improve. Everybody wants to see you do good things. Especially Carberry, every day before practice is with me working on my technique, working on my sets. After practice is out there working on my sets, working on my, it's testing me, it's calling me to make sure, I'm doing something to get better. And the entire room, I feel like what made us able to keep going, made us able to still stay locked in after so many injuries is just the fact that everybody are fighting for each other. Everybody sees the hard work and the struggles we put in. Day in and day out. So it's just like the next man up mentality. So everybody has that mentality, and you seen players do it. It motivates you to like stay ready. You don't know when your time is going to get called up. So it just motivates you to stay ready. So like I'm just blessed to be in the room I'm in right now.
Yeah, it's awesome to follow along. Again, your story, one of the coolest, and I just love the personality, your persona. You have confidence, but not cocky. It's just everything that I feel any young athlete should look up to. Truly, Ben, is
Thank
what you're
you.
doing right now,
Yeah.
and I know the sky's the limit here too, because again, you've only been playing football for a handful of years now. At this point, you've only started X number of games.
Yeah.
As far as you continuously learning, and you talked about that, you seem eager to learn. There are guys, and on every team, not just with any particular team, any team out there, there are guys that feel they've already mastered their craft. When it comes to you, not only do you know there's more room to grow and learn, but it sounds like you're excited for it. So heading into year 2 for you, what are you most excited about learning or tweaking to improve your game?
I'm just excited to, use all the things I learned from the previous year, all the things I've been working on. I'm just excited to use it. Because I'm coming into the game now with a different mentality, with a different plateau of knowledge. So like I'm just excited to use those knowledge I've gained. The my sets, my punches. My run game. I'm just excited to use it. So like I feel like that's what's different. I've learned a lot, quite a lot, and I've been thrown into the fire, so I know how it goes. So like I feel like with those two things, it has increased my confidence level. Yeah.
So the Buccaneers last season, they started off super hot. At the end of the year, you guys finished 8-9. What did you learn as a rookie being part of a team that had such a big swing halfway through the season? How can you guys carry that into next season under Todd Bowles' leadership?
Like I said, I know I keep saying it, how blessed I'm in the organization is just seeing how every player is professional. The way they come and handle their business and the way they take care of themselves. It motivates you to want to be like that. So like being in an organization like that just keeps you on your toes because you want to be as good as the next person. So like I felt like that's what kept us afloat the first half. You know Injuries, and after the break, with injuries and everything, and our season going downhill. I felt like we still kept the positive mindset. Like everybody came to work as before. We even walked away harder than before. So like I feel like um the place I'm in is a place for a young man like me that wants to learn and wants to grow to be in.
And Ben, so Spencer and I, believe it or not, growing up in Georgia, we grew up 2 hours north of Atlanta. We were Bucs fans growing up. I just so
Uh,
happen to work here at the radio station that covers the Bucs. So, like
uh,
you, I'm living out a dream too, man. So
yeah,
it's
great,
really
great.
special, man. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's crazy, Ben. So
yeah,
I got to ask you. So growing up as a Bucs fan and following this team for so long, the great Mike Evans and what he meant to this team, what he
yeah.
did for not only the Bucs but for the Tampa Bay community as well. And you talk about true professionals. This guy, Mike Evans, had so much success even when the team 7, 8, 10 years ago was winning 4 or 5 games a year, 7 games a year.
Yeah.
Mike Evans was still balling out. Where were you at when you heard that Evans was leaving the Bucs, and what was your initial thought there when you do see a legend like Mike Evans is leaving?
Honestly, I thought he was coming back because sometime after our season he had followed me back on Instagram. I was like, oh, wow, that means it's definitely staying, you know. So like then when I saw the news, I think I was still in. Maybe I just gotten back from Nigeria. I saw the news. He hurt me so much because I was definitely that he was staying. And I was so sure that he was gonna stay. But like, he is what he is. He's a legend. I feel like that's the reason why you wanted to go to the 49ers. But it is what it is. Is a legend. I feel like he's gonna finish as a Hall of Famer. So like, I'm so blessed that I played again with him. So like it's something like this, you pray for, and I feel like God answered my prayers by making me play a game with him. So like yeah,
And kind of moving on with that as well, Lavonte David announcing his retirement on Tuesday. I've seen this question asked to a couple of Buccaneers players, a couple of the coaches so far, but defensively, moving forward into next season, obviously the captain, Lavonte David, is gone on that defensive side of the football. Who do you think steps up and takes that mantle of captain? And if you had to pick a guy, who would you choose?
Vida. So I feel like Vida he's a real professional, and on and off the field, and I feel like he was one of those guys that was so welcoming to all the rookies. So I feel like I see that leadership mentality with him. So I feel Vida for sure.
And Ben, obviously, just a crazy situation in which both Mike Evans is gone, Lavonte David is gone. Fortunately, when it comes to Mike Evans and that offensive side of the ball, even though he's left, that receiving room is stacked. I mean,
Yeah,
even without Mike Evans,
yeah,
I truly believe that's a top 10 receiver room in the NFL. You look at
yeah,
a guy like Chris Godwin, who, when healthy, this guy can ball. I mean, he is
yeah,
the prototypical NFL wide receiver. You've got Emeka Ibuka, who, when he's on his A game, and I believe he will be in year two,
yeah,
can be, and I think he was, Ben, for the first 6 games of the year last year. I think over that 6 game period, he was arguably the best in the game up to that point, right? He didn't finish
yeah,
that way. but he
Yeah,
has played up to that point. Then Jalen
definitely.
McMillan, another guy. I mean, talk about that receiving core from your point of view. I know you're an offensive lineman. You help give Baker time to throw the ball
Yeah.
down the field. But talk about the receiving room, even without Mike Evans, and how talented they are.
Being able to play, for these guys, and my job is to give the quarterback enough time to give them the ball. So like seeing them make plays, like crazy plays, is amazing. And I feel like I know Mike is gone and is going to be missed. I feel like the wide receiver room is, like you said, so stacked up. We also have Tez. Tez a very good player, so like I feel like it just is stacked up. Um, the professionalism in the room, the way they carry themselves, the way they do their jobs, the kind of plays they make. Yeah, like you said, the room is stacked.
Moving on to the offensive line room, how do you feel about the Buccaneers 2026 offensive line when fully healthy? And can you play both left tackle and right tackle? Obviously, a lot of backups in the NFL and guys that are just getting in. I mean, an undrafted free agent earning his spot. How do you feel that you could kind of step in on the right side if anything happened there next season as well? Because I know you guys have such a good offensive line when fully healthy, but you did a great job last season stepping in for worse.
So yeah, when I started playing football, I think I started off with the right before I got moved to the left. And during last year's preseason, I also played the rights too. So like they can't doing most of the times during practice, I switched it from right to left. So like I feel like they're developing me to to play both sides. So yeah, I feel like my confidence level obviously is more higher in the left side, but like I feel like it's improving on the right side too.
Awesome, Ben. And we're wrapping up here. It's Ben Chukwuma of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers heading into year two. Just a pair of more questions here, Ben. Really appreciate your time, man. And it's so cool to hear your story. As far as, and this is tough because you're on the offensive side of the ball, right? So you may
Yeah.
not be as involved with the defense by any stretch. But as far as the loss of Mike Evans and the loss of Lavonte David, in terms of leadership, whose loss do you think will be felt the most in terms of leadership in the locker room?
I feel like both of them, like they're leaving a very very huge space in the organization with them leaving. But like I said, both they're going to be missed. Like I can't really even say they're going to be missed, but like I feel like Lavonte David, with the way he operates, with the way he does his stuff, with the way he leads, I feel like is the defense is really going to miss him. So yeah.
What's something that Tristan Wirf has taught you either directly or indirectly in your first season on the Buccaneers?
Number one thing for sure is resilience. Being coming out from the knee injury, the knee surgery, and coming in and doing what he does best. Seeing him play, seeing him practice for the first time, I was so amazed. So I'll say number one is resilience. Number two is the way he throws his hands, the way he moves. I just see it and try to like work my game based off what I see. Because I love to take things from different places and try to combine it and do my own thing. So like throwing of hands is past that. When we watch go over plays, he sees what I'm doing. It comes to me. I'm like, tell me, oh, try this, try that. So like I feel like the little advices here and there, it helps me a lot too.
What's it like playing with Baker Mayfield? Obviously, the quarterback. I personally feel, and I know the tail end of the season wasn't his best. I still feel like he gets too much of the blame for that. That's
Yeah,
how it works being a quarterback in the NFL. Even
yeah,
though he wasn't at his best on the tail end of the season, I still thought he was a very good quarterback. I'm a believer in him as the franchise quarterback.
definitely. Yeah.
Talk about Baker Mayfield and your belief, your confidence level in Baker as the guy.
Baker Mayfield is crazy, is incredible. And like I said, I'm blessed, being able to play for him, being able to protect him, and Baker Mayfield is a play away from an incredible, play. Is always fighting to make sure that he wins something. So like it's incredible blocking for him, and like I said, he has 100% of my belief. I trust him. I look up to him. And for me, it's a blessing being able to like protect him, someone of that caliber. So yeah, it's a blessing.
I've got one final question for you. You talked about, guys' preparation in the NFL and on the Buccaneers specifically. After one season in the NFL, what does a typical week of preparation look like for you now versus whenever you first came into the NFL before you saw how these other guys trained and took care of their bodies?
At first, I was more worried about I didn't really take my sleep seriously. I was just more worried of, okay, I need to learn all these plays. I need to stay up for this amount of time to learn all these plays and still have time to do other stuff. So like I didn't really take care of my sleeping schedule like that, and also my the recovery part of it, I didn't really take it that serious. But like going into the season, I seen the way these players do their things and the little advices they've been giving me. So I take it more seriously. I go to bed at a certain time. Make sure I wake up at a certain time. I try to make a routine. Recovery is something I don't play with. I always do the sauna, the cold tub, the hot tub, like continuously. I go in for treatment. Any little body ache, anything I notice, I go bring it up to the staff, to the medical staff to make sure they look at it. So like like your greatest ability is your availability in this game. So like keeping my body up there and try to make sure that I can be optimal and work to my fullest potential. So yeah.
Absolutely. Ben Chukwuma preaching some facts here on TCM Pod. Two more quick hitters. We'll get you out, Ben. You go enjoy the rest of your night.
Yes, sir.
But I got to ask, so any conversations with the new offensive coordinator, Zach Robinson? And if so, what have they been like? What's your takeaway from Zach?
No, yeah, I wouldn't have the opportunity to meet him. He seems like a nice guy. He's a nice guy. He seems like a really smart dude. I'm excited to work with him.
And then finally, Ben, as far as the offseason moves from the Bucs, was there one move that you looked at, whether it was maybe Alex Anzalone, the linebacker coming from Detroit, or pass rusher and Muhammad coming from Carolina, or Kenny Gainwell joining the squad? Which of these signings maybe intrigues you the most, at least before the season gets underway?
I mean, all the signings have been, like I said, this I'm still new to the game, so like the signings and the players are still new to me. But like, um, I feel like all of them stood out to me. It's just with Rashad leaving, Gainwell coming in. So like, Rashad was my boy. Me seeing him leave was so sad for me. So like, I feel like that's one that stood out to me. Seeing his replacement, and his replacement is also a good and great player. So yeah,
All right, two more. This is it, I promise. All right, so
yeah.
anybody out there that's chasing their dream that maybe your story is crazy, and in terms of if someone told you 5 years ago you'd be playing in the NFL on a 53-man roster, you probably, I don't know, would you have believed that, Ben?
Nah,
Yeah,
I'm like
yeah.
you're tripping.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you wouldn't have believed that. So
yeah.
what's your message to somebody out there, a young up-and-coming athlete that maybe his dreams feel far-fetched and unachievable, but to keep going and chasing after them?
As long as you feel deep down in your bone that what you're doing is the right thing and what you believe in, days are going to get hard. Like there's some days that you feel like quitting. There's some days that you feel like not wanting to do it no more. I promise you, those days that you feel like that are the days that will pay dividends in your future. Those times are the times that will build you and make you ready for the blessings coming. So like, I feel like if you have a dream, any dream that's worth chasing, and you believe that's worth chasing, yeah, keep doing it. Keep going. Like no matter how stressful it gets, no matter how demanding it gets, like those tough times are what build champions. So like keep going. Like me, I thought about quitting so many times. I did quit 2023, going through my 2023 season, but I came back. So like it gets hard. So like I feel like when you get in that moment of wanting to quit, just hang on and believe that what you're doing is the right thing, and God knows that is the right thing for you. So yeah.
It sounds like you're a guy, Ben, that uses the motivation from within to prove it and prove you right. Like, hey, I'm
Yeah,
capable of doing this.
yeah,
And the Bucs right now, this is the final one. Bucs right now, they kind of have a little bit of doubt surrounding them. I don't necessarily agree with all of it by any stretch, but as far as you and maybe some people maybe doubting the Bucs, how do you view that heading into 2026, your second year, and do you like being in that position?
I mean, I feel excited. Like everything is a blessing to me. So like, I'm just excited for this season to start. I'm so excited to learn. I'm excited to see the outcome of this season because like the last season went by fast. They were saying it. It goes by fast, and I experienced it. It goes by fast. So I'm just amazed for the new season. I'm excited.
Awesome, Ben. Hey, I appreciate you. I know Spence does too.
Yeah,
Hey, I'm getting ready to order my 70 in red.
yeah. Thank you.
You got a fan for life. I mean, it's an incredible story, and we really
Yeah,
appreciate you joining us today here
yeah.
on
Thank you
TCM
for
Pod.
having me. Thank you.
Thank you, Ben. Appreciate you, man. We'll talk to you soon. And next time Eli Pugh is down here,
Yes,
we got
sir.
to grab some food, man.
Definitely, definitely.
And finally, can we close it out with bad intentions?
Bad intentions.
All right, my man.
All
Thank you,
right.
Ben.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
you for your time.
Thank you. All right.
Thank you. See ya.